Get ready for a night of inspiration, laughter, and support. Join us on Saturday, October 4th at 6 p.m. at the Tupelo Cotton Mill, where outstanding men from our community will walk in her shoes. You'll hear powerful stories from survivors and caregivers, enjoy delicious food and drinks, and experience live entertainment in an evening filled with fellowship, fun, and hope. All proceeds go to support those bravely fighting cancer. This event is powered by Wear It Well.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm so excited that you could stay up with me and wrap up y'all's weekend for what's been a beautiful weekend here in North Mississippi with me here at Mississippi Live Weather. It has been a beautiful weekend. It's also been a dry weekend. And unfortunately, that condition and trend will continue into our work week as well. So let's look at the headlines. That rainfall, it is a rarity these days. We're in our dry season. We know this as Mississippians. This is what usually happens. I mentioned this during the 6 o'clock broadcast show last year when I started getting in prac and learning about the green screen. We would not build our shows, but we would do weather shows. And we never had rainfall to talk about in the entire month of October. The first time it rained in Starkville was Halloween night. So definitely the dry season. It's a rarity these days, but hopefully we'll start seeing some pop up later on into the work week and weekend. Above average conditions will continue as well. Now, these aren't those summer above average conditions. We're finally in fall and starting to technically feel like we're in fall. By above average, it's just maybe 2 to 3 degrees above average, and we're still feeling like we're in the 80s. And I keep saying above average a lot, but just to emphasize the point of how it's still slightly warming up as we continue into the work week as well. But also, we will have a nice back half of the work week. So we've had this warming trend as we've continued into the weekend. We'll continue to do so as we start off our work week. But from Wednesday, Thursday on and into your weekend, it will still be beautiful here in North Mississippi. And we're going to enjoy every second of it as well. So it's coming. We just got to get through the first few days of the work week as well. Taking a live look out here in Kosciuszko, 72 degrees, feels like 73. There's that northerly wind, 6 miles per hour coming in from the north, not really doing enough to cool us off from those actual temperatures, maybe just reading a degree above, but still feels nice outside. You can definitely see that here in Tupelo, 68, but feels like 72, so still good conditions outdoors for any last minute weekend plans that y'all have before we get back to our responsibilities and work habits for the work week. Taking a live look out here in Greenwood, 68, feels like 72. I mean, I don't know if I'm covering it up. There's a beautiful moon out there just showing those clear skies all across North Mississippi as we continue into the evening. And we can see those clear skies here on the first 12, showing clear skies by 11, 68 degrees, cooling on off towards the mid 60s by the time we get to those AM hours. Not really seeing those upper 50s as much. Most of our lows are going to read the low 60s. Maybe heat and seas can try to knock us down to where we feel like we're in the upper 50s, but still that warming trend is affecting our lows as well. We're going to continue warming up towards the afternoon hours, seeing mid 80s already by the time we reach 11 o'clock time frame. But let's take a look at the Mississippi Live Weather Radar, showing not much to look at or analyze right now. It's been like that all day. We can even put it on a lapse for the past 12 hours. There's just not much to look at, but it's been beautiful here in North Mississippi regardless. And because there's not much to look at here, I figured we can look at the surface analysis map on everything going on across the country and then eventually the tropics as well. So let's take a look at that right here. You can see that high pressure system up north, pretty much just off of Michigan towards Canada. Oh, it's going ahead of me. Let's go back 1 second before we get to there, because I was really excited to show you all the satellite. There we go. Pretty much no weather makers or weather systems anywhere near Mississippi or pretty much the southeast in general. Very dry, pretty much mild conditions across the southeast. Cold front, that's pretty much already moved its way across the United States, and we're definitely in a high pressure system right now, allowing us to stay dry. You can already see some of those hurricane and tropical systems starting to pop up on our surface analysis as well. So I figured let's take a look at it because I just love satellite and it's always fun looking at this. Let's take a look, and we can put it on a loop just to see it kind of moving for the past 12 hours. That's Hurricane Herberto moving its way across the Atlantic, starting that northern track before it starts curving on out towards the Atlantic basin as well. Always fun to kind of watch these, especially since they're not on its way to the United States. So we get to just enjoy them moving across the ocean, not really affecting us at all. So, and we can even zoom in just a little bit just to get a better look at it. Always really cool to see, especially with the eye wall. That is one of the things that's always fascinated me. The stronger it gets, the smaller the eye wall gets. It gets more constricted, weaker. It'll start just widening just a little bit, but always a cool thing to see out there in the Atlantic. like I mentioned, and when they are not affecting the United States or making a direct landfall here. Let's go back to Futurecast in North Mississippi showing these dry conditions. We're going to see that for the 10 o'clock broadcast style right now and even into the rest of the overnight hours. Most of the action will be in cloud cover, trying to build in for our early morning hours, only affecting those out there in the Delta and the southwestern portion of our viewing area. But by the time we wake up at 6 in the morning, early Monday morning start, we're going to see pretty much clear skies across North Mississippi. That trend is going to continue into your lunchtime hours as well. Maybe some more cloud cover building up, but those are those tall, wispy clouds, not really blocking any sunlight. So still pretty much mostly clear conditions as we continue into our Monday. We can track that out here on the next 24, showing pretty much mostly clear conditions all day long, starting off around 63 degrees by 6 in the morning. Still, those lows not really reaching those upper 50s anymore. We're warming up with that as well. Building up towards the upper 80s by the time we reach those peak afternoon heating time frame. Still upper 80s by the 6 o'clock broadcast style, and then we'll see mid 70s by the time we get closer and closer towards the 10 o'clock as well. But of course, like I mentioned, I want to give you an in-depth look on everything you need to expect going into your work week, and especially with those rain chances. We keep talking about maybe seeing some afternoon showers, evening showers. At this point, pretty much just sprinkles. I'm going to cover all of that and everything you need to know coming up in 1 minute.
Being a parent, especially for the first time, with that comes a lot of self-doubt. As a dad, I just try to lead by example. When you're trying to be the best person that you can be, your kids see that and then they emulate that.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us at Mississippi Live Weather at 10, taking a look at the beautiful Starkville campus, which I'm going to be going back to later tonight. I got to build one of my shows and forecast for one of those practicum classes for tomorrow. So I'm going to be enjoying these beautiful conditions out there. 73 degrees, feels like 75, not much wind, around 3 miles per hour, pretty much just calm, but a beautiful sight to see out there across the Starkville, Mississippi State campus. Pretty much clear skies. Same thing out here in Aberdeen, 66 degrees. That looks like that's the place to be. Any overnight evening plans, definitely want to have them in Aberdeen. 66 degrees, feels like 66 as well. Not much wind out there, but definitely not really needing it to cool you off into the evening as well. Let's take a look at the day planner, pretty much overnight planner at this point. 68 degrees by 11 o'clock, seeing mid 60s still by 2 in the morning in those later AM hours. And even by the time we are starting off our Monday morning commute, already seeing those mid 60s, getting a jump start on that warming trend as we continue into our Monday. We can track this out on Futurecast, showing that northerly wind. Still, I keep harping about it, but that is what's causing these dry conditions, not allowing much moisture to be in our atmosphere. And that's why we don't really have much to look at as we track out the pretty much nothing going on here in Mississippi. There's some cloud cover, something to look at on these graphics, starting to build in for the southern portion of our viewing area in the Delta, but that's pretty much the extent of that cloud cover we'll see in the morning. Low temperatures, still not seeing much of those upper 50s like we did see at the start of this weekend, pretty much low 60s across most of North Mississippi. I would argue maybe 60, so you can see Holly Springs, Senatobia, and Tunica, you could see 60 as your low. Maybe those heat and seas making you feel like you're in the upper 50s, but definitely not forecasting any across North Mississippi. For our school day graphic, it's that time of the season where the kids are probably going to want to walk out of the door with sweatpants, maybe some long sleeves, but they are quickly going to want to take those off later on in the afternoon, try to shed some of those layers off because it will start heating up as well. That weird in-between summer and fall, haven't quite made it to that cool all-day feeling quite yet. So definitely one of those days here as we start off our school day and our work week for tomorrow. Coming back to Futurecast, we can see that cloud cover still moving on through the southern portion of the Delta and into the southern part of our viewing area. Some more cloud cover trying to build back into the afternoon, but notice these are going to be pretty wispy, high, tall clouds, not vertical development, just tall and in the atmosphere And we're going to continue into the afternoon as well. Still not picking up as much rain as earlier models did earlier this weekend. Still showing just small bubbles. I'm talking sprinkles maybe if it can reach the surface. I would argue the best chance of rain showers is probably closer towards Tishomingo County, the very corner of Mississippi, trying to make its way through into Iuka. But other than that, we are staying pretty much dry. There, you could say there's a 10% chance of rain for our Monday. We will continue to stay dry. Those high temperatures, I'm even covering up most of them over here. Pretty much upper 80s, low 90s for most of North Mississippi. Thankfully, those heat indices allowing us to stay right there with those actual temperatures, not shooting us up. So that summertime mugginess, we're leaving that behind us as we enjoy more and more of these fall-like values and conditions. But let's come back to Futurecast, showing those rain showers still affecting those in Tishomingo County and even just along Highway 45. But even then, it's very sporadic, not really going to provide much meaningful rainfall. This is what I do expect as we continue into the Tuesday overnight hours. Pretty much dry, clear conditions. Another sunny start to the day. A beautiful start as long as we continue into the work week. But you can see there's more of those bubbles trying to pop up again during our Tuesday. Still, I'm not as high and confident on these, trying to level expectations. I do expect it to be dry, but like I mentioned, rainfall is a rarity. If we were to see some of these pop up over us, we would not be mad in the slightest. Try to help us out with those crops and plants. But I do expect more dry conditions to be in place for our Tuesday as well. And you can see dry conditions by the time we start our Wednesday morning as well. High temperatures for Tuesday, still pretty much the exact same as Monday. We're reaching the peak of that warming trend almost before we can start cooling off towards the back half of the work week. Pretty much upper 80s, some low 90s still trying to trickle in. But I'd argue there's probably less low 90s in this one than we did see for our Tuesday or Monday. So maybe we're getting a little jump start on that cooling trend as we continue into the work week. Heat indices still keeping that same trend, keeping us right there with those actual temperatures, maybe dropping you just a few degrees, allowing us to still enjoy these upper 80s instead of those low 90s. We can see that warming trend, pretty much 89 as your highs Monday and Tuesday, 88 Wednesday, and then we can see that cooling trend, the opposite of what we've experienced this weekend. I'll step out of the way so you can just embrace it and enjoy it. Thursday, 86, Friday, 83, as long with your Saturday, and then 84 for your Sunday. But then that's where we can finally see some more meaningful chances of rainfall coming in for your Sunday. But still, that's 7 days out. Everything can change. We've already seen how much the tropics have changed within the past 24 to 48 hours. But maybe we can get perfect conditions and a rainy, lazy Sunday in our forecast for this weekend. But I appreciate another weekend hanging out with you guys here at Mississippi Live Weather. Of course, here are the QR codes for the app. We appreciate all the support and feedback you've given us. We cannot do this without you guys, and I appreciate all this love and support you have given me and the crew here at Mississippi Live Weather. Our broadcast schedule will be back towards the weekday schedule. Everything you see here will be going on. We'll be starting off with our meteorologist Maggie McCauley in the morning, 6:30, 7, and 7:30, before Matt and Gabe wrap up your weekdays with the 5, 6, and 10. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's evening before we start our work week off tomorrow, and have a great work week until I see y'all again next weekend.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.